How you doing, Sandesh here, and welcome to episode 5 of trying to make sense of the world. I'm going to be obviously talking about wrestling, gaming news, news in general, and obviously movies as well. I'm going to get into wrestling first, and now obviously it's WrestleMania week. Um, I'm just going to be talking about Triple H's induction, and and I can already tell when he said that I love you, Vince. When he mentioned Vince McMahon's name, you could pretty much tell that people like, oh, how dare he mention how dare he mention his dad and all. But it's like, how the hell was he going to be able to not talk about Vince? That just wasn't going to be possible. Anyway, I'm reading this from Wrestling Inc. Paul Levesque, known on WWE programming as Triple H, delivered a lengthy speech at his Hall of Fame induction in the early hours of Saturday morning ahead of WrestleMania 14. Levesque ran down his entire decades-long career from Arnold Schwarzenegger devotee to WWE Chief Creative Officer with significant stops along the way for his time in WCW. His first ride with the Click, his time learning the production side of the business from some of the greatest minds, and his various health struggles. He delivered numerous shout-outs from fellow wrestlers like Steve Austin, Randy Orton, Batista, who wasn't in attendance. I'm starting to wonder, is Batista even gonna be in the Hall of Fame? I'm starting to think he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, tell you the truth. Um, because the thing is, because last I heard, when he was supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, they said he was going to be in it the year after because obviously of COVID. That I can understand, but I'm starting to think it's not gonna. Batista's Hall of Fame is not gonna happen, honestly. Um, to behind the scenes names like Rich Herring and Michael Hayes. Eventually, he came to his family, including current United States Education Secretary Linda McMahon, who was present, and soon to become clear that Levesque and soon became clear that Levesque had been building up to mentioning another name. There's one thing that I've skirted around all night long. I've got to talk about it, and that's Vince, he said, referring to former WWE CEO Vince McMahon, who resigned after being sued along with the company itself by ex WWE employee Janelle Grant on charges of sex trafficking and abuse. It's a complicated story and a complicated relationship, but in so many ways, I would not be here without him. He's the one that saw something in me creatively, invited me to those production meetings, taught me, let me sit under that learning tree, and encouraged me to sit under the Patterson learning tree and continue to learn. Levesque continues saying that my man was also a major part of his personal life as well as career. He just wasn't my boss. He wasn't just a friend. He wasn't just a mentor. He would become my father-in-law. He's my wife, the person I love the most in this world. He's my father. He's my kid's grandfather. So it's complicated, he said. When there's somebody that helps propel you that far, you owe them so much. He taught me so much what to do, what not to do, and I'm grateful for those lessons. I love you, Vince, and thank you. Levesque's statement echoes a recent statement made by WWE competitor and Hollywood actor John Cena this week, who also professed his love for Vince as well. I can understand why Cena said that he still has respect for Vince because obviously because look how long he was on top four. So um but the thing is also at the same time I kind of also respect the fact that Cena didn't jump on a bandwagon. He was pretty much like, I don't give a shit if people hate me for what I'm about to say, and you pretty much don't see that ballsy attitude anymore. So it was kind of I kind of respect him on the fact that he didn't care if he was going to get hated for it or not. It's something of a chance in policy for the company, as McMahon's name has rarely been mentioned since his original resignation in July 2022. I get the feeling that because Triple H mentioned him in the Hall of Fame, I get the feeling that the thing is that as far as the lawsuit is going to get wrapped up very soon, and probably WWE lawyers were like, you know what, you could just mention him, don't worry about it, because they just so happened to mention it. Cena and um, who else? I think it was Roman Reigns and obviously Triple H were the ones that recently um, mentioned him when they were obviously asked about him, while Cena and Roman Reigns. But the fact that Triple H actually said all that in his Hall of Fame speech, I think that pretty much tells you that this is all going to get wrapped up really soon. Following the revelation of harsh money payments to cover up alleged sexual abuse, this voiding of power was what allowed Levesque to take the reins of WWE alongside President Nick Khan. McMahon returned to the company in 2023 but sold it to R.E. Emanuel's Endeavor Group for being ousted again, seemingly for good this time. In January 2024, Janelle Grant's legal team is currently attempting to move the case into discovery while McMahon's legal team attempts to move it into arbitration. McMahon did not appear to be in attendance at the Hall of Fame. Obviously, no shit. He wasn't gonna be at the Hall of Fame. If anyone seriously thought that Vince was gonna be at the Hall of Fame, it's like you have literally lost your fucking mind. It's like you clearly do not live in the real world. He was not gonna be allowed to be there. If he's not allowed to be in the WWE headquarters, how the hell was he going to be allowed to be in that building that night? That wasn't going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to get into the matches at WrestleMania. I hope this is all of them. Um, I don't know the order of the matches, but I'm just gonna go through them on my thoughts and who I think is gonna win. All right. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins triple threat match. This one I think is going to be one of the few better matches at WrestleMania. I will say this: as far as the build up for the matches, they're not on par as far as compared to last year's. Last year's really did felt like WrestleMania was a big deal. That WrestleMania's here. This year's kind of feel like it didn't feel like that, even though that the build up started a lot longer. Anyway, this match, as far as Roman Reigns and the CM Punk, the favor, I get the feeling. I honestly get the feeling that Paul Heyman's going to turn on Roman Reigns and CM Punk, and he's going to align himself with Seth Rollins, and I think it's going to be to do with the fact that Seth Rollins did not attack Paul Heyman, and he only attacked CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I just get the feeling that because I get the feeling that they're gonna want to shock everyone. And as much as I hate Seth Rollins, I think if you're gonna shock people, the only way you're gonna shock anyone, is to have Paul Heyman um, betray Roman Reigns and CM Punk. And obviously, you're not gonna have Paul Heyman come out the night after and then explain why he did what he did. I mean, they're gonna stew on it for at least a couple of weeks, just like what Cena did when he went heel at Elimination Chamber. But I think it's gonna be Seth Rollins that's gonna end up winning only because of I think that Paul Heyman's gonna have a is gonna be the major factor of the fact that Seth Rollins is gonna win. I don't think Seth Rollins is gonna win himself because of him. I think it's because of the fact that it's gonna be Paul Heyman. Um, Next one, I'm gonna next match, Gunther versus Jey Uso. Now, I honestly want Gunther to retain because Gunther, I'm telling you now, he's just exposed Jey Uso and he's like, you're not even on my level. He's pretty much made fun of him. And I love the fact that the ones that Gunther said on Raw that I give you chance after chance to show me that to to show me that you're worthy to carry the belt to to be in the WrestleMania main event, and the thing is, you haven't shown me anything. And I gotta admit, Gunther is just pretty much called his bluff, honestly. But the thing is, I if Jey Uso wins it, I guarantee you they're going to realize very quick, and they're going to be like, "Oh shit!" And we put the title on him, and Jey Uso clearly cannot carry it, because when you think about it, after when his entrance is over, when the music stops, and then the thing is that fanfare isn't exactly there, and the way he carries himself in his promos, he clearly doesn't show that. The thing is that he's like, "Yo, it's serious time." Because to be honest, I prefer the Jey Uso when the Bloodline stuff was happening, when Roman Reigns was a heel. I honestly preferred that Jey Uso, because that Jey Uso was far better at doing promos. I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know how he didn't learn anything under Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. It just doesn't make any sense. And I honestly think that if Jey Uso wins the belt, I can honestly see him dropping it at SummerSlam. If Gunther retains it, and then I think Jey Uso will either win it at SummerSlam, or they'll probably wait until next year's WrestleMania, which I think will be the smart play to do. Like, I honestly think if you're going to build up Jey Uso, you really need to build him. But the thing is, you got to build it to the point of where people need to start taking him seriously, and he's also got to change his promo style, man. He seriously needs to, because he kind of comes off whimpery in a way. Look at the way Jimmy was getting beaten up by getting the shit kicked out of him by Gunther, and he was just having and Jey Uso just had like that plastic tie thing on his wrist, and he couldn't snap that off. It was like, I think that sort of thing just did not help Jey Uso as far as the build up for this match. Um, the next one is the WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I'm gonna say this: I don't like Charlotte Flair, but I have to say Charlotte Flair is most likely going to be the one that's going to win, because I think it's been shown that Tiffany Stratton is just not ready to. It's just not ready to be and to carry it, and I don't like Charlotte Flair. I'll be honest. But the thing is, I think it's been clearly obvious, because even on the promo exchanges, Tiffany Stratton has been like stumbling, and Charlotte Flair has just been like composed and just been like, you know what, give me your best shot. And the only best shot Tiffany Stratton pretty much had was to mention her divorce, even though Charlotte Flair already talked about it. I think this must have been the day before, or on that earlier that day. So it was like, what else does Tiffany Stratton have against Charlotte Flair? So she only became Tiffany Stratton only became champion because it obviously didn't work with Nia Jax. So it's like it's I honestly believe Charlotte Flair's going to end up winning it, and I don't like Charlotte Flair, just like I said. But the United States champion match, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I'm gonna say this: Jacob Fatu is gonna end up winning it. It just screams Jacob Fatu right now that he's gonna end up winning it, because they're obviously gonna build up. I see this. They're gonna end up building up Jacob Fatu as being a single star. This is going to be the beginning of it. And I also see him ultimately breaking away from the new bloodline, and he goes on his own, because I don't think LA Knight's going to end up. It LA Knight's clearly not going to be the one that's going to retain. Jacob Fatu's going to win it, definitely. Next one is Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Clearly, and Chad Gable, but I gotta admit, it is really funny. It reminds me of this reminds me of when Owen Hart was a Blue Blazer, and Steve Blackman, he was kept on interfering in Steve Blackman's matches. Steve Blackman was like, "It's Owen Hart," and the thing is, when he eventually proved it was Owen Hart, and then Owen Hart was like, "That's not me. That's not me. You altered the tape." And Michael Cole saying to Owen Hart, hang on a minute, we was live. How can you alter tape? How can you alter the footage if it was live? You can't do that." So I actually think that this match is going to be really good. correct me if I'm wrong. Did Rey Mysterio get injured on SmackDown? Because if he did, if this is true, then I don't know. Then who the hell is gonna face Chad Gable then? Um, but let's say Rey Mysterio is currently gonna face Chad Gable, El Grande, let's say. But I say I say Rey Mysterio's gonna win because they're obviously gonna because some baby faces are gonna end up winning. Very few heels are gonna end up winning. Um, the next one, Jay Cargill versus Naomi. Um, Man, I'll tell you this now. Yeah, as much as I don't like Jay and Cargill, when she came back at Elimination Chamber, man, she fucked up Naomi, man. I gotta admit, and I'm starting to think the way how Bianca Belair's been acting with um the situation with Jay Cargill and Naomi. She's trying to stop Jay from beating the shit out of Naomi, and I'm starting to think that Bianca Belair is going to end up coming out in their match, and then she's either going to accidentally cost Jade the match, or she's going to end up siding with Naomi. It just seems like she's starting to get a little more heelish, and then the build up of her title match in a triple threat match, you're starting to notice it, and and I do think Jay Cargill's not going to end up winning it. I'm starting to think it's going to be Naomi because I think they're going to want to build Naomi as a credible heel. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but at least she's trying. Um, yeah, I'm going to go with Naomi winning this match. Um, the World Tag Team Champions match, the War Raiders versus the New Day. I'm not even going to say anything else. I'm just going to say I reckon War Raiders are going to end up winning this. I've got no other interest in this match. I'll just say the War Raiders are going to win. I don't think because I think they're losing interest in the New Day very quick, which is a shame because I mean I honestly think after when they turned on Big E, that was such a golden opportunity to do something um with Xavier Woods and Kofi because they came off really well as heels, and man, they should have been given a lot more. Um, but the War Raiders. Anyway, undisputed WWE champion championship match, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. I just hope John Cena wins. I really do. Because I want him to win, and I just want the fans to get so pissed off and fucking pissy and complaining. And I want Cena to finally beat Ric Flair's record, and then he just says, and then he's just like, you know what, fuck all, yeah, I'm taking the belt and I'm going home, and you're not gonna see me again. I just wanted to just piss the fans off so much. I hope they have the balls to do that, man. That would be so hilarious. But I will say this that as far as like promo wise, I will say this. John Cena has just been running circles around Cody Rhodes. He honestly has. And if you notice on when they went face to face the first time since Cena turned heel, Cody Rhodes had to use like shit and dick and all that. John Cena at never any point didn't use any words like that because he didn't even need to. He just Cena didn't need to, and he just shamed up Cody Rhodes. I just love the fact that he said that I was the glass ceiling, and yet now WWE has just pretty much Cody Rhodes is now just is mediocrity, and mediocrity is now looked at as being superior, and yeah, he just ate him up and just spitted him out, man. John Cena did, but I really hope John Cena wins. I really hope so because heel John Cena is like, man, he's doing some really good work. Next match, women's world title match, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I'm hoping Io Sky retains because if either Bianca Belair and or Rhea Ripley wins, then it was just then honestly I consider it a waste of time for Io Sky to even win it in the first place because to be honest, I mean. it seems like it's between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. When if that was the case, you might as well I mean, you should have just made it the match between them two because them two are pretty much largely ignoring EO Sky when you really think about it. So if anything, if they're gonna take EO Sky seriously, EO Sky has to be the one to retain. Um. Anyway, next match, AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Um. This match is going to be good. Um, I would say AJ Styles is going to end up winning this match. I'll really be surprised if Logan Paul wins. Even though Logan Paul's really good in the ring. I will say this: he is a lot better than a lot of the roster is. And I don't like Logan Paul, but it's like we got to admit it, man. I don't like Logan Paul. I think he's a dickhead. But the thing is, as far as athletic ability, as far as being a wrestler, he's like he's a lot better than a lot of them, man. But I do see AJ Styles winning this match. Intercontinental title match, Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. This one's gonna be a seriously good match. Um, because you got Braun Breaker, Dominic's gonna be brilliant in this match, and obviously Finn Balor's gonna be fantastic in this match. I love the fact that after when Braun Breaker did that badass spear on Carlito, I love the fact that when the second Braun Breaker came out the ones on Raw, and then when Carlito saw him, he's like, "Oh shit, he's gonna spear me," and then he just went straight for the announcer's table. And he was like, "No way, I'm not gonna get speared again by him." I love the fact that they did. I love the fact that they sold him Braun Breaker's spear of being that fucking deadly. But Braun Breaker's going to end up retaining because he's clearly the future. He's clearly got main event level written all over him. He's going to be champion, no doubt about it. But if they're gonna push him to go for the belt this year, I reckon he's gonna end up losing the Intercontinental belt around the summertime. And I think his proper push and going into the main event level, I reckon will happen in summer at SummerSlam. He'll probably might win the Money in the Bank this year if they are gonna push him into the main event level now. But the thing is, if they don't do it, then obviously there's still next year. But Braun Breaker's gonna win this match definitely. Next match, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, Sin City Street Fight. This is going to be a really good match. I reckon this match is going to remind me of this match. I think is going to go along the way of how Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes ladder match went, or it's going to be how when Priest faced Bad Bunny at Backlash. Either of the two, but this is going to be a really good street fight match. I hope there's going to be some blood in it. I hope so because I will say this: WWE now is willing to was willing to have blood on the show. I just hope to have it in this match, but I see. I hope Drew McIntyre wins this match because honestly, Drew McIntyre really needs to start and getting some worthwhile wins, and then they really need to start building him again as a seriously big deal. I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre to win this. Um, the next one, the women's tag team title match, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bailey and Birdwoman. Um, I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez because they're obviously the bigger deal and they're obviously going to be the favorites to win. Um, Honestly, I'm wondering if when Liv Morgan and Raquel wins this match, I'm wondering will Bailey turn heel on her partner? I'm kind of hoping she does. If anything, that at least that will give Bailey something worthwhile to do. I hope they don't carry on making her the current making her a baby face currently the way she is now because it's just not going nowhere. But it's definitely going to be Liv Morgan and Raquel winning this match. Um, Anyway, those are my thoughts on what I think is gonna who is gonna win that WrestleMania. Oh, and by the way, as far as the Hall of Fame, I know that the Hall of Fame happened. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm just wondering how the fuck is Undertaker gonna justify Michelle McCool's um career and say that it's worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. It's like, man, that's gonna be so fucking funny to hear Undertaker trying to do that. But anyway, I'm gonna get into some gaming news. Um, hang on, sorry about this. All right, here we go. The first one's on Tech for Gamers. And fans believe Marathon is which is being made by who's it being made by again? Oh, Bungie, excuse me. The fans believe Marathon is more likely to flop like Concord than even reach moderate success. Um, Many in the gaming scene have been waiting for Bungie's next project after back-to-back Destiny 2 DLCs over the years. Is that really true? Well, I don't think so. There may be some, but I don't think that there's many as this article likes to believe. However, now that the extraction shooter Marathon is here, most of the player sentiment online has turned negative because of various criticisms. Now, a new poll on social media shows that many fans believe the game is more likely to flop like Concord than reach moderate success. Very few online have claimed in defense that the game can be the next defining live service hit. I disagree with that. It ain't gonna be the next defining live service hit. No way. Um, the only live service game hits I see is Genshin Impact, Warzone, and Fortnite. Those are the ones. Marathon already appears to be in murky waters because the majority view regarding the extraction shooter is negative, which may harm its chances of success even before it takes off. Well, the thing is, to be honest, that comes down to the game itself. If the game itself doesn't really offer anything different compared to other live service games, then what's the point? I mean, I mean, uh, seriously, what does a marathon have over the three that I just mentioned to make it like, oh, that's gonna be a big hit. And you got to remember something: live service games are so time consuming that the thing is that game Marathon is going to be able to take time away from those games, and I don't think that's going to end up happening. In a NeoGAF poll, over 60% of voters believe that Marathon will flop like Concord. However, the other 39% have argued that the game will achieve moderate success with a small community and Bungie will continue to support it with updates. Well, it will depend if they'll continue to support it with updates, because the thing is, if the player count doesn't improve, if the put it like this, if the player count is low to begin with and it does not improve, I'll tell you this now: as far as those updates, they're either not gonna happen, or there isn't going to be many updates. But no, honestly, it to be honest, I honestly think it was a major mistake for Sony to buy Bungie. I don't see the point. It honestly ended up being a waste of money when you really didn't really think about it, on the fact that they were chasing a trend which did not end up working out. And look at them and the amount of money that they wasted and the amount of games that they had to cancel as well. This result is the same on other forums online, with many criticizing Marathon for being a premium title in a market dominated by F2P games, well, free to play games. Many gamers also dislike the game for its art style choices and generic gameplay. The criticisms against Marathon are so rampant that a former Concord developer stepped in to support the developers, claiming that calling the game a failure before it's out is wrong, and players should let Bungie cook. But the thing is, like I said, the game will only be good is if it the as far as the game goes, it can only be good if that's up to Bungie. It's up to Bungie if it's going to be good or not. That's not up to the game. That's not up to the gamers. If Bungie doesn't offer anything like worthwhile or stand out from the other live service games, and then what's the point? And then you really can't blame gamers for that. Bungie has previously confirmed that Marathon will not replace Destiny, and the extraction shooter is also not for PvE players. Um, yeah, in yeah, Marathon isn't gonna stand out. If anything, I kind of do think it's gonna end up being another failure under Sony's belt. I really do see that happening because when you really think about it, it's like what does it have to seriously what does it have to offer on which Genshin Impact doesn't have, what Call of Duty Warzone doesn't have, and what Fortnite doesn't have either. Yeah, because the thing is you got to be able to take away player count from those three, and I don't think you're going to be able to. Anyway, I'll get into the gaming article. Um, Hang on. The next article from Tech for Gamers again. Gamers favour physical copies despite digital shift, report reveals. Um, the video game industry has made significant efforts to transition towards a digital only future, suggesting that physical media is now outdated and more expensive for manufacturers to produce. However, gamers seem to feel otherwise and still lean toward purchasing physical copies of video games. A recent report supports this, stating that nearly 80% of Switch games sold in Europe were physical format, and physical media play a vital role in preserving video game history. Recent cases such as players losing access to the crew underscore the fragility of digital ownership, raising concerns about whether the players truly own their games. Well, the thing is, like I said, gamers need to educate themselves and understand that the thing is, digital games you do not own. No, I mean that user license agreement, of which you ignore when you buy a digital game. Guess what? That is telling you that you do not own the game whatsoever. You don't. You paid for a license and you're paying for permission to play the game, and that's it. Um, Anyway, it says here Astrobot on PlayStation 5 was 55% physical in the UK and nearly 60% physical across Europe. I mean, that's a pretty big margin, to tell you the truth, for physical. And the game business recently released a report outlining sales figures for physical and game copies. According to the data, 45% of Hogwarts Legacy sales, 49% of Assassin's Creed Mirage sales, and 45% of Resident Evil 4 Remake sales in the UK were physical. That means nearly half of the sales for these major titles came from physical copies. Some of these were bundled with consoles as well. Interestingly, Marvel's Spider Man 2 saw 54% of its sales in physical form, even outpacing digital sales. On the other hand, Astrobot on the PlayStation 5 saw 60% more physical copies in Europe and 55% more in the UK, just like I mentioned. However, online focused games like FC 2025 and WWE 2K25 leaned heavily into digital. Their digital sales increased compared to previous titles, even though overall units sold were lower this time around. That said, the physical games market overall took a hit in 2024. Boxed PS5 game sales dropped by 800,000 units compared to last year, while Xbox saw a decline of 300,000. Um, the Nintendo Switch experienced the steepest year over year decline by 1.8 million units, which had a noticeable impact on the physical market as a whole. Still, the takeaway is that gamers are more likely to buy physical games when it comes to narrative driven or family oriented games. Digital, on the other hand, is the preferred format for online focused titles, which are often more affordable and convenient to access than their physical counterparts. But the thing is, now look, I'm going to say this: I'm a physical person, not just when it comes to games, but even when it comes to film and TV. I'm a physical person in general, physical media person in general. But even I know this: the future is going to be digital. But the thing is, when it comes to digital, when you're watching a film, with the when you're watching it on a subscription or whatever, right? You're not getting the best experience when you're watching a film when it comes to digital, because the sound has been compressed. So has been the picture quality on a physical disc. It's not been compressed at all, because at the end of the day, because the thing is, at home, with the way you want to watch it, you could watch it with the best. You're in control, because you could watch it with the best sound, and obviously with the best TV that you can afford, and that way you'll get the better experience. And it's the same with I don't know if it's the same thing with games, but obviously I'm a physical person. I'm willing to go down with this sinking ship, but even I know that digital's going to be the future. I know that, but the thing is, it's good to know that there are people out there that are wising up, and they're like, you know what, I care about video game preservation. I care about preservation in general. It's good to know that the fight hasn't lost yet. Um, Anyway, the next article I'm going to get into, um, Oblivion, the Oblivion remaker remaster. Apparently, when it comes out, which is obviously going to be any time now, the Oblivion remaster will reportedly come with all released DLCs. That's good to know, but at the same time, I'm kind of not surprised. Also, at the same time, because how many remasters get re-released, and where the previously DLC was didn't come with it. Um, very few come out on where the DLC doesn't come out, but most of the time it does. So I kind of expected it. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster is the talk of the town these days, amid rumors that it will shadow drop uh, next week. Um, A few screenshots also surfaced a couple of days ago, showcasing the enhancements made to the visuals. I think these screenshots were on Virtuous's site. I think they were. The people who were working on Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. For fans looking to find out more, a new rumor suggests that the Oblivion remastered will also come bundled with all the DLCs released for the original version, which, if true, is a massive reason to celebrate. This title, the title has one of the most critically acclaimed DLCs to date, and getting them along with the base game will surely be a welcome addition for the fans. Talking to the Defining Dead podcast, Lord Cognito, who has a solid track record, spoke about how the Oblivion remastered will come with all the DLCs of the original game. Unfortunately, we can't link to the podcast as it is currently paywalled. Oblivion had some massive DLC launches back in the day. Some of the best ones include the Shivering Isles, Knights of the Nine, and the Wizard's Tower, among others. It would be great to see them make a comeback along with the remastered base game. This also presents a great opportunity for fans who missed out on the original game to experience one of the best rated RPGs ever made. The remaster expected to be released next week, although there is no official confirmation. I also heard that correct me if I'm wrong, isn't going to be Fallout 3? Isn't Fallout 3 going to get a remaster as well? Because that's what I've heard, but I guess we'll see about that one. This one I do want to play because obviously it's going to have modern controls, and I reckon playing it with modern controls is going to feel a whole lot better. But I do definitely want to play this. Let me know in the comments if you're interested about this. But I'm going to get to the next article now. Um, this one is about obviously the lies about net zero. All right, and net zero zealots forget that 6,000 products are made from crude oil, including equipment needed for their green agenda. So here's a reminder, and I think it makes like for phones and TVs and also laptops and such as well. So the thing is, these people that want to do away with oil and focus on smart energy is like they clearly don't have a fucking clue how it works. Net zero policymakers the world over appear to be unaware that electricity is generated after oil and that renewables only produce unreliable electricity, not the products and fuels needed to support the world's population. And also, I've heard that certain clothes are also made with oil as well. Um, like fluorescent jackets are also made with oil as well. So the thing is, when you see these stupid idiots trying to have an argument saying that, oh, we need to get rid of oil, and then when they get asked, okay, what's the alternative? Because the thing is, obviously, there's going to be there were countries that rely on crude oil, and the thing is that they clearly don't have a compelling argument, and then they just resort to name calling. Everything that needs electricity, including iPhones and computers, is made with petrochemicals manufactured from crude oil, coal, or natural gas. Exactly my point. Even the green agenda needs hydrocarbons. All electric vehicles, EVs, solar panels, and wind turbines are built with products, components, and equipment made from crude oil derivatives. Getting rid of crude oil would eliminate electricity. The more than 6,000 products in demand by hospitals, airports, communications, transport, and the 8 billion people on this planet. See, that's what I'm saying. You get rid of crude oil, and the thing is, you're going to end up affecting the economy in the worst way possible. And the thing is, there's just no way that you can get rid of crude oil. You just cannot do that. Lifestyles are driven by the materialistic and transportation fuel demands of society, which so called wind and solar energy are incapable of fulfilling. All the climate change alarmists blame emissions from fossil fuels. Still, they have yet to identify a backup plan for something to support the demand for products and fuels of current lifestyles in wealthier countries and developing economies. That's what I'm saying. They have not done their homework, and it's just all about their feelings and just not thinking about, wait a minute, what's the alternative? There really isn't an alternate an alternative. If net zero, if you want to really concentrate on net zero will probably take about 20 years, and that's it. It would probably might take longer than that. Today, net zero policymakers is setting green policies. Oh, and by the way, the policymakers for net zero, have you noticed that they always fly private? So the thing is, I think that just shows you the bullshit and the hypocrisy of net policy of net zero altogether. um, are, green policies are oblivious to the reality that so-called renewables only generate electricity but cannot make anything in addition. Everything that needs electricity, like iPhones and computers, is made with petrochemicals. Yeah, I mentioned that bit. Okay, electricity came after oil, as all electrical generation methods from hydro coal Natural gas, nuclear, wind, and solar are built with the products, components, and equipment that are made from oil derivatives. All EVs, solar panels, wind turbines are also built with products, components, and equipment made from crude oil derivatives. Yeah, all transportation fuels for cars, trucks, merchant ships, aircraft, and military are manufactured from raw crude oil. There you go. You'll be affecting the economy in the worst way possible. Getting rid of crude oil would eliminate electricity. Yeah, it would exactly. I mean, this is just telling you all you need to know, and there's so much evidence out there that is prudent. I mean, that's just letting you know that the thing is credible evidence. By the way, I mean that's just letting you that net zero is just nothing but a pipe dream. That won't work. And the ruling class in wealthy countries is not cognizant that the planet's population has increased from 1 to 8 billion after oil over the last 200 years. Lifestyles before the 1800s were drastically different, as the world did not have any of the following infrastructures, which are all made from products and components made from oil derivatives: transportation, hospitals, medical equipment, appliances, electronics, telecommunications, communication systems, space programs, heating and ventilating, military. In addition, all the above infrastructures need electricity, the same electricity that is based upon wire, insulation, etc., which are made from the same oil derivatives manufactured from raw crude oil. Today, we have more than 50,000 merchant ships, more than 20,000 commercial aircraft, and more than 50,000 military aircraft that that use fuels manufactured from crude oil. And by the way, these people that say we need to get rid of oil, well, the thing is, since we love war so much, imagine telling the military, yeah, okay, you need to get rid of your current military aircrafts and your military equipment, and you have to replace it with and you have to replace it with net zero crap. Try to explain that to the Pentagon. Try explain that to the Pentagon. Try explain that to the UK lawmakers. That in practicality it just won't work. It just will not work. You just have to oil based products is just the way it is, and you're not gonna change that. End of story. Okay, I'm gonna get into the next article. Um, I find this, you know what, honestly, then this sort of thing sort of pisses me off. Drag queen group mocks Jesus Christianity in Easter show marketed for kids. Fucking hell, I mean, it's like it's like no wonder I fucking hate drag queens so much. I mean, they fucking prey on kids and Jesus. A San Francisco drag queen group called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a self-professed order of queer and trans nuns, is sparking controversy in the days leading up to the annual transgender Easter event. And by the way, why the fuck are you preying on children for? Because that's clearly what you're doing. You're clearly preying on children. What the fuck does that say about you? And this year's event, which is being called No Easter Without the Tea, is meant to honor transgenderism and features a children's Easter egg hunt. Oh, by the way, I just want to say, as far as transgender, I just want to say a huge victory for J.K. Rowling in the UK. Because the thing is, I think there was a group of women that was able to fucking that won the victory in court to say that, you know, men who pretend to be women are not allowed to be in the same changing rooms or as toilets as women. And exactly, but the thing is, it's also tragic on the fact that this had to be taken this had to be done in court for this to happen, something which is common sense. Anyway, um which features a children's Easter egg hunt and a costume contest encouraging attendees to come dressed in drag as Honky Jesus and Foxy Mary. What the fuck? Um, you know what? Looking at this picture, they look fucking frightening. I'm telling you, they really do. It's like imagine taking a kid to something like this. I mean, the kids will probably end up crying, and you know what? I wouldn't blame them. The event's invitation poster includes a depiction of a tattooed Jesus surrounded by men in drag. Pictures posted from the event in previous years' history, including men dressed as Jesus in high heels, dresses, and minimal clothing, and holding signs that say, "Can I get a gay man?" and halls of Jesus. I think that's what it is. You know what this reminds me of? You know the Paris Olympic Games opening? That's what this fucking bullshit reminds me of. It really does. According to the group's website, past winners of the contest includes Barbie's Ken Jesus, historically accurate Jesus, not actually historically accurate Jesus, was I think a brown skinned man. I think if I'm correct, that's a historically accurate Jesus. An accurate Jesus. Jesus was not a white man. He was a I think he was either I think he was black or I think he was brown skinned. One of the two. But transgender Maria D. Jalopy, I think that's what it says. Pro-choice Mary and black woman as God. Libs of TikTok, a popular conservative social media account, slammed the event, especially calling attention to the drag group for encouraging children to attend, while simultaneously admitting that parents are advised that some may find the latter portion of the show inappropriate for young children. Well, the thing is, if you're going to say that this show is inappropriate for young children, then why the fuck do you want children to even come to the show for? What that tells me is, yeah, this group is nothing but a fucking bunch of fucking rapists. That's what this tells me. They're fucking rapists and pedophiles. And they literally say that their show is inappropriate for children while still encouraging children to attend. Said libs of TikTok. 100%. They're fucking hypocritical assholes. Disgusting commented comment disgusted commented Catholic Vault senior advisor Steve Cortez added, "The ruling class abides bigotry as long as it's targeted against faithful Christians generally and Catholics specifically." You notice how the Christian faith is getting pissed on like this. You notice that. Logan Church, political director of the Catholic Vault, told Fox News Digital, "The group is disgusted, though sadly not surprised. The so-called Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence have made it their mission to mock Christianity with open hostility, and this blasphemous Easter event is just the latest example," he said. It's not bold, it's not brave, and it's certainly not art. Of course it isn't not art. It's fucking disgusting. It's bigotry dressed in costumes, and Americans are right to be outraged, he went on. Let's be clear, sacrilege is not religion, and it is not protected under the banner of religious freedom. While we live in a freedom, while we live in a country that defends freedom of speech, this does not mean Christians are required to sit silently while our faith is ridiculed. We have every right and every reason to push back. And yeah, every if a religion is unfairly mocked, and then people of that religion have every right to push back and say, no, we don't agree with this, and 100% agree with that. And the fact that this queer group have get to do it is just fucking, it's just fucking annoying, and it really does piss me off, even though I'm not a Christian. But it's like people like this who are clearly pedophiles. It's just like, I don't know how the hell they're able to walk around fucking merry like this and just and then at the same time say, we want children at our show, but at the same time say that there's going to be stuff that's not appropriate for kids. Fucking double standard bullshit. Um, I'm going to get into some movie news now. Now, the John Wick director's Highlander reboot, which is going to be starring Henry Cavill gets an exciting release update. Big news has been revealed for the Highlander reboot, featuring beloved actor Henry Cavill. With the rights to the film almost secure, the new Highlander film may soon be finally getting an official release date. Per deadline, Cavill's Highlander film is very close to being picked up by Amazon MGM Studios, United Artists, and Scott Stubber, who are in final negotiations to land the rights. Should the deal go through, Stubber will serve as a producer on the project for United Artists alongside Nick Nesbitt and Neil H. Moritz and the director of the John Wick films, 8711 Entertainment. With John Wick franchise director with the franchise director at the helm, the movie screenplay comes from Michael Finch and John Wick Chapter 4. United Artists reportedly sought the full rights to the franchise. There are apparently big plans to potentially do more with Highlander beyond the new film starring Henry Cavill, with a tie-in TV series named as a possibility in the Deadline report. It's also noted that Amazon's model was what worked best for the director's vision of Highlander, making the deal seem very beneficial for everyone involved. Of course, the future of the franchise will boil down to how well the movie from the director and Cavill performs. But with such popular names attached, the odds are high that the reboot will get a lot of attention. Cavill is very popular with the fans after some of his beloved roles, including Geralt in The Witcher and Superman in Man of Steel. I think the Geralt one was a more tragic one because, to be honest, he was treated more as a side character in his own show, and Geralt is not a side character. And after appearing in the MCU with his role as Wolverine, as a Wolverine variant in Deadpool and Wolverine, he has other big projects that fans are anticipating. Recently, it was reported that Cavill will star in a Voltron movie directed by Ronson Marshall Derber, based on the popular anime. He is also working on a Warhammer 40,000 adaptation. Both of these projects are also in the works at Amazon MGM Studios. The franchise began in 1986 with the release of the original Highlander movie, directed by Russell Mulcahy, I think that's what it says. The film starred Christopher Lambert as Connor McLeod, with other cast members including Roxanne Hart, Clancy Brown, and Sean Connery. The film was not a major box office success upon release, as it earned less than 13 million, failing to match its production budget of 19 million. It found success on home video, however, and became a cult classic that spawned a franchise. Two direct sequels were made for Highlander, 1991's Highlander 2, The Quickening, and 1994's Highlander 3, The Sorcerer. In 1992, the TV series adaptation debuted to success, ultimately running for 6 seasons before concluding in 1998. It had a short-lived spin-off dubbed The Raven, and there was also an animated version that aired in the mid-90s. Two films, 2000's Highlander Endgame and the 2000 Highlander Endgame film, that was the one with Edge in there, wasn't there, if I remember correctly, and 2007's Highlander The Source were also released, tying into the TV series version. An anime, Highlander The Search for Vengeance, was released in 2007. The Highlander reboot doesn't have a set release date at this time. I'm not surprised it doesn't have a set release date at this time. But the thing is, Henry Cavill is seriously going to need a big hit because, to be honest, he obviously got shitted on for The Witcher, which was clearly no fault of his own. And obviously we know what happened with the DC films. So the thing is, he's clearly gonna need a big major hit, honestly, because it's like how much more time, it's like how much more is he gonna even tolerate if it just keeps on having failure after failure and after failure, which clearly isn't his fault, you know. But we'll see what happens. And the last piece of news, this one I found fucking hilarious so much. Hang on a minute. John Boyega from who used to be in Star Wars, who had to play the race card, recently, and he said that I think it was about him not working out in the Star Wars films, and he said it was because he was black. It was like, you see what I mean? This is how much of a fucking idiot he was, and he also joined and he was also part of Black Lives Matter as well, which tells you how much of a fucking idiot he really is. Anyway, Star Wars franchise star John Boyega is ready to join the MCU. While he was initially unsure who he should play in the shared universe, a fan helped him realize who he would be perfect for. During a chat with Josh Horowitz on C2E2, Boyega was asked by a fan if there was anyone he'd be interested in playing in the MCU. The actor shared that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige once asked him that question too, and he didn't have an answer for the studio head at the time. This prompted a fan to yell out that Boyega should play Bishop in the X-Men reboot, to which the actor instantly agreed. "Oh, I play Bishop," he remarked. You know what? The only reason the only reason he's saying that is because the thing is he needs another big paycheck again. He's not coming in anything, and he's not coming in anything worthwhile. Ask yourself this: when was the last time he came in a TV show or he came in a film? I can't even remember. This must have been like, it must have been during COVID. That was the last time I heard he was in a film. I can't even remember what the film was as well, which tells you all you need to know. And by the way, who the fuck is gonna see John Boyega as Bishop, a legendary character in the X Men comics and the cartoon, as Bishop? Bishop's a fucking hulking man. Come on, seriously. Created by writer John Byrne and artist Porcio, I think that's what it says. Lucas Bishop first appeared in the Uncanny X-Men issue 282 in 1991 as a member of Xavier's Security Enforcers, a mutant police force from a dystopian future of the Marvel universe, who travels to the 20th century to join the X-Men. A skilled marksman, Bishop possesses the ability to absorb and redirect energy. While not as well known to casual audiences as Wolverine, Magneto, or Deadpool, Bishop is still a prominent part of the X-Men canon and was recently seen. Hang on a minute. In Marvel Television's X-Men, the animated series continuation, X-Men 97, voiced by Isaac Robinson Smith. He also had a small role in the 2014 live-action movie X-Men Days of Future Past, played by Omar Sy. I don't remember. I've seen X-Men Days. I've seen Days of Future Past. I don't remember Bishop being in that. Marvel Studios has been slowly developing an X-Men reboot film since 2019, when the company regained the rights to the franchise. However, the reboot is not expected to be released until after the conclusion of the multiverse saga, as Marvel is seemingly keen on bringing back the original X-Men cast for one last hurrah. Kelsey Grammer as Beast, Patrick Stewart as Xavier, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, and James Marsden as Cyclops were all recently announced to be returning for Avengers Doomsday, as variants of the mutants they played in 20th Century Fox's original X-Men trilogy. Channing Tatum will also be back as Gambit, reprising his scene-stealing role from 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine. I will say this, he was really funny as Gambit. I like the fact that he pulled off the Gambit, and the way how Gambit talks, and I love the fact that I think it was Deadpool or Wolverine that were like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I can't understand what you're saying." He was funny. While some fans have been clamoring for Boyega to join the MCU, how many people are actually clamoring for him to join the MCU? He ain't gonna come off fucking convincing. Come on, let's be honest. Given his star power and talent, seriously, how much star power does he actually have? What other films has he come in recently? Just like I said, there are also millions hoping to see the actor return to the Star Wars galaxy as Finn. Unfortunately, Boyega stated back in 2022 that he has no interest in returning as Finn, More recently, he remarked that Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest. Star Wars has always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something. That's what I'm saying. It shows how much of an arsehole, and it shows and it just shows how much of a snowflake he is, that he had to pull the race card. And ask yourself this: um, when Baldy Williams was in Star Wars, and so was Samuel Jackson. Name one time when them two actors pulled the race card when they were in Star Wars. You ain't gonna find one, and he had to pull the race card, which tells you all you need to know about him. Despite Boyega's comments, his Star Wars sequel trilogy co-star Daisy Ridley would welcome the opportunity to work with him again on her upcoming franchise return. Oh, by the way, I'll tell you this now. Her Star Wars film is not gonna happen. I'll tell you this now. If anything, it wouldn't even surprise me that her Star Wars film gets quietly cancelled. It wouldn't surprise me if it does. Her film ain't gonna happen. In 2024, she stated that she would absolutely welcome Boyega's Star Wars return in her upcoming movie. Absolutely, of course. It feels like we should, yeah. Yeah. It's like, does anyone seriously want to see him as Bishop? Come on. He looks like a kid, and fucking Bishop is clearly not. He looks Boyega still looks like a kid, okay, and Bishop should not be portrayed to look like as a kid. Come on. Anyway, that's everything, and thanks for watching. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me in my links on my YouTube bio. And thanks for watching episode 5 of trying to make sense of the world. And I'll see you soon.